Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another Battle to the Death for you. Today we have the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight versus the Spyderco Pair 3 Lightweight. This is a little comparison I know you guys have been really looking forward to ever since the Sage 5 Lightweight was teased. And I mentioned foolishly that I handled one at Blade Show, a prototype. You guys have been asking a bunch of questions about it. So let's get to it. But before we do, I will say this video is probably going to get a lot of views. I know that. So I'm going to be a responsible YouTuber and say, if you really like what you see here, please check us out on Patreon down below. We always appreciate that. And also there's a PayPal link if you just want to randomly kick in a few shekels. That's always really nice. You can also buy t-shirts and hoodies from Teespring. That's down below. And, please like and subscribe. All that crap that I always forget to say. Let's get to it. This is a battle to the death. So how does this work? We have 7 categories: design and aesthetics, quality, blade, ergonomics, carry, deployment, and value. Everybody gets a point for each category they win. And then we add them up at the end and we pick a winner. There's going to be a winner. I know sometimes I've done some ties and it really makes people mad, but I'm not going to do that this time. There is a winner. I do honestly assure you. So please watch through till the end. Let's talk more about these knives individually. First of all, you have the Spyderco Pair 3 Lightweight, $91 with BD1N steel, FRN handles, little kind of half liners. This knife, I will say right off the bat, is dramatically different than the regular Pair 3, more so than the Sage 5 Lightweight is. This is actually, it's the same exact shape. I know you can even blade swap them and it works fine, but this is a quite different design than the regular Pair 3. You have the nice deep carry wire clip as opposed to the atrocious clip placement on the regular Pair 3. You guys know I'm not a giant fan of the regular Pair 3 if you watch this channel at all. It is a quite significantly different knife than the regular Pair 3. And like I said, 91 bucks, pretty reasonably priced, pretty good entry into quote unquote serious Spydercos. I'm not talking about the Chinese stuff, like the real kind of serious ones. Baden Gold in Colorado. All right, next up we have the Sage 5 Lightweight. Also, well, this one is made in Taichung, Taiwan, instead of Golden, Colorado. Sorry about that. I almost screwed myself up. FRN handles, and it has the new pivot bushing, which we'll talk more about. I'm not going to get into it right now. We'll talk about that more. But it is a slightly different pivot system than what they usually use. I know they did it on the new CQI Kapara as well. Yeah, we'll get to that more. But other than that, S30V blade, pretty much the same as the original blade on the regular Sage 5. It might be slightly differently shaped, but it's not really noticeable. Still full steel liners as opposed to the half liners on the Pair 3. And it's $122.50. But other than the pivot bushing and the FRN liners, or the FRN scales, pretty much the same as a regular Sage 5. Slightly longer clip too, but it's because they were trying to hit we'll talk more about that too. They were trying to hit the logo instead of having it being way up here and rubbing on that multi-directional. All right, let's do some specs, and then we will get going in the scoreable categories. On the Sage 5, you have an overall length of 7.15 inches, blade length of 3 inches, blade thickness of 0.12 inches, handle thickness of 0.41 inches, and a weight of 2.85 ounces according to my scale. Now let's do the Pair 3. We have an overall length of 7.25 inches, blade length of 3 inches, blade thickness a little bit thicker, 0.14, handle thickness also a little bit thicker at 0.46, and a weight of 2.4 ounces. Now, let's get into your scoreable categories. First of all, design and aesthetics. I always say right off the bat, because people always yell at me about it, even though I put the disclaimer in, this is the most subjective category. This is what I think. It's always beauty in the eye of the beholder and all that crap. The Pair 3 is ugly. I've always said that. I will always maintain that to my grave. It looks like they took a PM2 in a photo editor and just shrunk it, just changed the aspect ratio and shrunk it. And maybe that's what they did. I don't know, but it just looks shrunk. I don't know. I've never really liked the look of it. Sage 5, very nice classic Spyderco shape, and yeah, definitely Sage 5 on design and aesthetics. Definitely the Sage 5 lightweight. Absolutely. I think it just looks a lot better. But again, beauty in the eye of the beholder, all that stuff. But for me, design and aesthetics, absolutely to the Sage 5 lightweight. Quality. Also have to give it to Sage 5 lightweight. I mean, it is what, $31 more expensive. So that's really kind of unsurprising, but it feels $31 more expensive. It just has a more solid feel to it. Again, it's got the full liner, so that's kind of unsurprising as well. And the FRN feels a bit nicer, not as much as I was expecting. The Golden Colorado FRN is catching up, I will say, because the Pair 3 lightweight does still feel really good. But here's the thing that definitely gives the easy win to the Sage 5 lightweight. And this is just my example, and I have not bothered to send it back to Spyderco. I'm sure they could probably fix it, but yeah, it's off-center. Pretty good. It's pretty significantly off-center. It doesn't touch anything, and this is a user for me, so I don't really worry about it, but this Sage 5 lightweight is perfect, and this is not. So, pretty easy. Got to give it to the Pair 3 lightweight. Blade. I hate to keep the streak going, but another pretty easy one for the Sage 5 lightweight. And it is not the steel. I actually really like this BD1N. I know it's a less expensive knife, so it's less expensive steel, but I actually really like the BD1N. It's been very, very good to me. I have had 0 issues, and I really like it. For a budget steel, I think it's a really good development. I know that they're talking about putting in more of their budget knives, and I really hope they do, because it's held up really well for me. I've had this one for quite a while, and it's held up really well. Sharpens easy. It's a really good steel. They're both about the same thickness behind the edge, the usual Spyderco 22, 23, 24 thousandths behind the edge. But this is much thinner blade stock, and just much slicier because it's just the thinner blade stock. I don't see why you need that thick a blade stock on a lightweight knife. I would almost rather that they went to more something like this, that they had 2 different blades, different between the lightweight and the regular, but that's not the way they did it. I understand manufacturing and blah, 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 but I've always liked the blade on the Sage 5 better. I think I may have done a comparison between the regular Sage 5 and the regular Pair 3. I'm not sure, but I can tell you that this is one of the reasons why I prefer the regular Sage 5 or the regular Pair 3. I just like the blade better. It's just a really good slicer and just a really great kind of EDC sort of knife. And these are lightweights. You're not going to be doing really heavy duty stuff with them probably. So yeah, Sage 5 lightweight blade all day long. Ergonomics. This one kind of surprised me because I really like the ergos on the Sage 5. It's one of my favorite things about it. It fits my hand perfectly, and I just do really, really like it. But I'm gonna give it to the Pair 3 lightweight because both of these have these more contoured scales, which is really great that Spyderco is doing that with the FRN now. It's really cool. I mean, it is fancy plastic. You can do whatever you want with it, and they're finally starting to embrace that and do more things with a lot more contouring and stuff. And this is just has a bit more of that contouring. And between these two particulars, yeah, I have to very narrowly go Pair 3 lightweight. I really enjoy it. I really, really do. This is great. This is just that tiny bit better. Now, the regular versions, I absolutely prefer the regular Sage 5 to the regular Pair 3. But that's not what we're comparing. We're comparing the lightweights. And in the lightweights, I prefer the Pair 3. Now, as far as carry goes, this one's going to take some kind of a little bit of explanation. So as far as how they carry, like in your jeans and stuff and how they look, we're going to bring some out here. This is Yield Dickies, which again, we're not making jokes about. These are Dickies work pants. So it's pretty thick denim. I always want to say that. Probably not the most ideal ones to use for these kind of tests, but that's what I have. So they both carry fine. They both have pocket clips that land on the logo, which is a great thing that Spyderco does for for all their FRN models. That's a very smart thing. So it's landing on a smooth pad instead of landing on this multi-directional stuff. They go right in and out of the pocket fine. There's hardly anything sticking out with the Sage 5. There is almost nothing sticking out in the Para 3, which is the complete opposite of its standard version, where if you use the standard clip, you have like 1/2 inch of knife sticking out. So there's that gives the Sage 5 a little bit of an advantage, the Para 3 a bit of an advantage. But really the reason why I'm going to give the carry to the Para 3 is because the Para 3 is a lightweight. It is 1 ounce lighter than the standard Para 3. The Sage 5 is like 0.3 of an ounce lighter than the standard Sage 5. And that's not enough to call it a lightweight for me. It's 2.85 versus 2.4. I don't think they should have called this a lightweight. It should have been the Sage 5 FRN or something like that. It's not enough to call it a lightweight. 2.85 ounces for a 3-inch blade. That's not shockingly light, guys. That's not enough to call it a lightweight. So, gotta go Para 3 on this, just for that, honestly. So I had to penalize it somewhere for that. I am kind of annoyed that they call it a lightweight, and it really, really isn't. As far as deployment goes, I'm gonna catch some crap for this, and whatever, I guess. But you guys got really mad that when I did the little initial impressions, first review, whatever, of the Sage 5 lightweight, I didn't mention the pivot bushing. Oh, that's a big deal. It's the pivot bushing. It's a great thing. I don't notice it. I mean, I'm sure it's great. It probably makes it so it breaks in faster or something. But my well broken in regular Sage 5 opens, closes, deploys, just as good as this. So I don't think it's that big a deal. And on the CQI Kapara too, my regular old Kapara was really good out of the box, and don't really see a need to upgrade to the one with the pivot bushing. I mean, you can just look at them, and this one's only running on one bronze washer on one side and plastic on the other. If you have a Delica or anything like that, they run on plastic. It's not an uncommon thing. I know some people wig out about it, but yeah, it happens. And this has 2 bronze washers and the pivot bushing and all that, but look at this. Okay, it drops really well. Not saying that it deploys great. It's fine, but so does that. They both Spidey flick, thumb flick, all the same. I can't tell the difference. I honestly can't. And so I have to call it a tie because I honestly can't tell the difference. I know this is better on paper, but in real use, I can't tell the difference. Is this going to wear out faster? Yeah, probably, but I don't know. At the current state they're both in, I just got to call it a tie. I can't really pick something on deployment. Now, value. So this one's going to be a bit of discussion. So $91 BD1 in steel versus S30V 122.50 full liners, all that stuff. When the Para 3 lightweight came out, I wouldn't call it a revelation, but I don't particularly care for the standard Para 3 in the G10 scales. I really like the Para 3 lightweight. The Sage 5, I love the regular Sage 5. When this came out, I was really excited. I thought, it would be significantly lighter, and it would have, it would be significantly less expensive. And it's neither of those things. It's only 0.3 ounces lighter and $30 cheaper. Yeah, this is only $40 cheaper, but still, this is significantly different. This really isn't that different. It just has that pivot bushing, which I don't notice, and in the actual use, I just don't notice it. And it's just got plastic handles on it, and it's not that much lighter. This I was impressed with. Sage 5 lightweight, I was disappointed in. So, and this is cheaper. So obviously, value all day long, Para 3 lightweight. I think if you're debating between two of these, you just want a lightweight Spyderco in that 3-inch range, go with a pair of 3. If you're just one of these guys who needs to have full liners, you think you just have to have them, which, spoiler alert, you don't. But if you just feel like you have to have full liners, you can get the Sage 5 lightweight. You won't be disappointed. It's not a bad knife. It's still a Sage 5, which is a great freaking knife, but it's just a Sage 5 with plastic handles on it. It's a grippier Sage 5. They should have just called it the Sage 5 FRN. They shouldn't have called it the Sage 5 lightweight, because it ain't. 2.85 ounces to me in 2019, not a lightweight. You're looking at a bug out that's like less than 2 ounces, and it's longer than this. So, than either of these. So, yeah. Winner's got to be pair 3 lightweight. I know it's 3-3 with one tie, but the value is always the tiebreaker. And yeah, I would say pair 3 lightweight. If you're debating between the two, get the pair 3 lightweight. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.